think all my life I've made things, and 7th grade shop was probably the most fun I had in all my school days. That was kind of the beginning of my woodworking career. And here I am, decades later, still sort of in 7th grade shop. We live on 45 acres on a hilltop near Spring Green, Wisconsin. My motivation when I moved to the country was to have a shop and a house on the same piece of property. We built a house here in 1982 and we built my shop about 100 yards from the house. So I really have a short commute to work. Having a shop here at home is perfect. Often people come into the shop, they say, wow, this place is nicer than our house. And I say, well, I spend more time here than I do in the house. I love being in the shop, and I'm not sure that I don't make furniture just so I can have all those tools. I love working on the weekends. I like working at night. It's just a wonderful place to be. The main part of our business is custom furniture. We've built chairs, rocking chairs, tables, end tables. A lot of custom cabinets for people with collections, knife collections, jewelry collections. My work's kind of hard to describe. I think it's somewhere between Scandinavian and shaker furniture. I try to keep things as visually simple as possible, even if the construction's complicated. I like in any piece of furniture all the wood to be the same, except maybe a tiny accent. We also have this line of Birdseye maple cutting boards. We have maybe 20 different sizes. We make some trays, we make chopping blocks. I'm not sure exactly when I first discovered Birdseye maple, but it was a perfect wood for the cutting boards because even when the shapes of the cutting boards are the same, each board is different. Here's a good looking board. Birdseye maple is called that way because of all these little spots that sort of resemble eyes. And it varies from pieces that are highly figured to pieces with just a few bird's eyes. Whether it's a fungus, whether it's a disease, whether it's produced by some chemicals in the soil, no one knows what causes it. And it's only in a very few of the trees, maybe 1 in 500. I love Birdseye maple. The pieces always look so great. The cutting board is a saving factor in our life because it brings in enough money and employs enough help, so it makes it possible for me to build furniture the way I do. We finish all the parts of any piece of furniture, the backs, the bottoms, the inside of the cabinets, even if it's things that people aren't going to ever touch. There's never a point in any of my furniture where you'll feel something rough, and I think people really notice that and like that. The real key to my approach to design was running into a man named Bill Stumpf, who was a friend and mentor for most of the last 40 years, passed away about 3 years ago. He was a real genius and a real incredible craftsman, and he designed the Air-On chair, which has become the biggest selling office chair in history. Bill Stumpf paid extraordinary attention to every detail, every round, every curve, and I think I learned the essence of design and craftsmanship from him in a way that I never would have from anyone else in the world. For a lot of the things I build, I try to build models because I find that I can design easier in 3 dimensions. I tend to take a piece of furniture that I've spent a lot of time on and use those basics for other pieces of furniture. So if I have a piece laid out in a model form but it's accurate, I can really adjust the proportions subtly till I get something that I think is going to be quite beautiful. In this shop we have 2 main employees, Steve Pierick, who's worked for me for 27 years. Steve has worked here so long that he can do a lot of pieces of furniture from scratch without any help from me. And Richard Hibmet has been working here 10 or 11 years. Richard does lots of odd stuff in the shop. He's also been the main finisher. So together the 3 of us make a great team. We also have a second shop a half mile up the road, which we affectionately call Wohl Shop 2. Dwayne Nowak runs that shop. That's where we do the bulk of the work on the cutting boards. Dwayne does all the oiling, packing, and shipping of the boards. We also have 3 great employees there who do all the sanding of the boards. We never thought that the cutting boards would be a long-term craft item. Most craft items have a very short shelf life, but at this point in the game, we've gone from making a few thousand a year to 10 or 12,000 a year, and we sell them all over the United States and in 7 or 8 foreign countries. I also work with my wife Ann, who's an equal partner with me in the business. She's the only one with a title. She's the COE, that means Chief of Everything. She does all the payroll, invoicing, generating the packing list, all the taxes, and all the things that go on in the office.
Sure. So you do the pegs, you want enough for every board?
One of the great joys is working with Ann on a daily basis, being together all day.
Oh, we can bet that.
So we've just had a wonderful time as a family working together. And when my 2 kids grew up, the shop was their playhouse. They were welcome. We helped them on projects. My daughter Michaela has done many, many things in the shop. And my son Jonathan is just a terrific woodworker. So I think my wife and my family are very happy with our life. Living in the country is constantly an inspiration. It doesn't matter whether it's foggy, rainy, cloudy, snowy. Each day is kind of magical.
Stop that. Give me a kiss. Come on. Yuck.
I really like being in the country. I like the quiet and the peace. The view from the shop in all directions is wonderful. So I really don't think I'd be building the same pieces in the same way if my shop was in the city. I also like living in the country because I can play tennis pretty much anytime I want. We had one flat spot on our property where the barn blew down in 1988. I always fantasized putting a tennis court there, and one time I expressed the desire to my wife and she said, well, why don't you just build it? I didn't need any more encouragement than that. In 2005, I bought a tennis fence, and that sort of set the stage. I traded half of the price of a dining table for the initial construction. I traded some blanket chests to another person who helped design the tennis court. And a year or 2 later, why we had a tennis court. It's been a great addition to our lifestyle. My parents were very supportive the more I got into woodworking. My dad's philosophy was, the important thing in life was to do something that at the end of every day you enjoyed what you did. My sister and brother and I took his advice seriously, and I think everybody knows if you have very, very supportive parents, it paves your road and makes it much easier to follow the path that you like. Woodworking for me is probably my main source of entertainment. I've always enjoyed it my whole life. And one of the nicest things of what I do, and I think it's true for any creative person, is to see pieces come together. Just leave a full life, we always cut them off. It's always wonderful to start with rough boards, figure out how to cut them up, how to match them, and see that develop into a large tabletop or a chair, get the finish on them, and then take their final shape.
Yeah, that was a good one.